Hi, welcome for our RTL online training. So subscribe for RTL online training YouTube channel to get the latest updates about Oracle Cloud and job opportunities and as well as the freelance options here. And just go to YouTube channel and search for RTL online training. Go to our YouTube channel here, go to playlists. If we go to the playlists, what happened? You'll find separate for supply chain management, separate videos, HCM separate, financials separate, Fusion Technical, SQL, PLSQL, EBS Technical, like that we will find, right? So it depends on the requirement, whatever the domain you are learning or working, you can go ahead with that here. Okay. So now today we are talking about how to configure the entire ledger setup, right from the enterprise structure and how we can go for configure the accounting key flux field structure. I'm going in the sequence order. I'm going ahead with the sequence order, still create a journal and go for post it. So it's in a single session I'm going to show you. It's a sequence of steps which needs to be performed. Here it is. Okay. So any enterprise structure, if we talk about, first it will be with the enterprise. Right. So let me go for unmute this. Let me take it as white color. First enterprise will be there. There will be only one enterprise. You work for any client in the world. The enterprise is only one. Enterprise structure also only one. But within the enterprise, you can have divisions, multiple legal entities, multiple business units, number of department jobs and all this. Okay. So enterprise, where do we find the name of the enterprise? We'll go to the task, manage enterprise HCM information. That's the name of the task where you can find, go to the task here, manage enterprise HCM information. This is the name of the enterprise. In case if we want to make some changes for the enterprise, we can do it. Yeah, means changing the name of the enterprise. But maximum setups at enterprise level will see related for human capital management. It's like global HR, payroll, position synchronization, elements, payroll setups, and US payroll balance definitions and position, income and employment, HCM flow document types, position hierarchy, workforce structure, nothing but job, position, grade, department, and locations. This is all HCM related we'll find. So we don't need to worry about much as finance functional consultant about the enterprise level setups. After enterprise, as I said, division is an option is given by Oracle, but no one is using the division. So we will go ahead with without divisions. In the interview also, you can say straight away, I have not configured the divisions in my implementations. If you say, yes, I have configured, the next question is, where you have used these divisions? Nowhere. Nowhere. Oracle has just given to create a division, but where do you use? That facility is not at there. Maybe in future Oracle will provide that, but at this point of time we don't have. Okay, that's about divisions. Next, LDC, legislative data. That's what we are talking about here. For one country, there will be a one LDC, legislative data group. We can have multiple legislative data group also. This legislative data group also mainly for human capital management in HCM, human capital management payroll. That's why if you search for the task, it is showing it's not exist. Because you are in financials offerings right now. But if you go to HCM, then you will be able to find this particular task. See? So LDC is purely for HCM, but we must have the idea, like what is LDC, how your ledger is, legal entity is associated with LDC. LDC stands for Legislative Data Group. For every country, one LDC is mandatory. You can have multiple legislative data groups, depends on the payroll cost. So if client they asks like, my payroll structure is different for different employees, a group of employees, then we need multiple LDCs for legislate. Otherwise, the country name and currency will specify here. So we are going ahead with this legislative data group. Say yes, created. After the LDC, then we have to create a company, nothing but legal entity. In Fusion applications, we call it as a legal entity, whereas in general or business language, we call it as a company. It's as simple as. Okay. So we'll ask our client, where is your office address? Registration address, established address that we are going to create. Let me go for create a legal address here. Go to the task here, legal address. Going ahead with Sony legal address. Sony legal address is created here. Sony legal entity. We are going to create a legal entity here. Once address is done, we have to create a legal entity. Go to selected scope option, create new option. I'm creating a new legal entity, nothing but new legal office, Sony legal entity. And I'm going to make this legal entity as a legal employer. Where is Sony legal address? You can search. Place of registration and other information, legal employer here. And I'm going to make it as a PSU also, because when you have the employees in the company, then you are supposed to specify how you are going to pay the salaries to the employees through this company. It's mandatory. So I've made this as a legal employer as well as PSU. So these two things we are supposed to specify. Now legal entity has done successful. All the legal entities should be associated with our ledger and LDC. Ledger, we are going to do it. Now we'll assign this legal entity to the legislative data group. That's what I'm doing now. Legal address is completed. Legal entity creation is completed. Legal entity should be assigned for LDC. Here, why we have to assign for LDC? Legal entity means our company. In your company, employees are there. You are paying the salaries to employees end of the month. All this payroll information. For example, you have 10,000 employees. You have run the payroll for 10,000 employees. Means system has calculated total 10,000 employees salary structures. All this information should associate with LDC. Payroll information, LDC, legislative data group. That's what I'm going to do it. Manage legal entity HCM information. This is the task name where we are going to assign our PSU. I'm sorry, excuse me. To the legislative data group. Sorry, choose your legal entity. So one of the important question in the interview is, what is the task name to assign our legal entity to the LDC? Manage legal entity HCM information. Select your legal entity here. What is the legal entity? That's going to be Sony. This is our Sony legal entity. Now go to the tab here, PSU, associated with the legislative data group here. Next, our company should be assigned for ledger also. Should be assigned, because in our company, two things will happen. One, you will run the business and you will pay the expenditure and as well as the salaries, and also you'll collect the amounts. All this salary information should be associated with LDC, and accounting information should be associated with the ledger. So ledger is nothing but a group of forces: currency, calendar, chart of accounts, and compliance method. When any company is doing some business, let's say Your Sony client is having the business across the world in 5 countries. In every country, they have around 100 branches. In 100 branches, every branch, there are 2 clerks. Total, how many clerks are there? 200. 200 clerks every day, they are going to enter the accounting entries. Whenever they pay $1 also, they have to enter that in the information in the system and prepare accounts. Even if they $1 crore also, still they have to make the accounting entries. Every day, some thousands of accounting entries will be generated from every branch. 1000 multiplied by 100 per day, it's going to be 1 lakh accounting entries from one country. End of the quarter, end of the period, end of the year, it will be millions of accounting entries. That's the reason if we want to analyze our business, end of the year, all these millions of accounts we have to take into the consideration. If we take all this information in a proper format, then it will be easy for us. If we don't take in a proper format, it will be difficult for the business. That's the reason every client will go with the proper format. That is what we call it as ledger. So ledger is a logical organization which we will be using to go for maintain our accounts in a proper format. Accounts in a proper formats. Okay. So we have assigned this here LDC. Now we are going to configure the ledger. First, currencies. Currencies, we don't need to do anything. Already currencies we have. Just go to the task here. Currencies, and we will be able to find over here. Manage currencies. US dollar we can find over here. It is. It's already there, enabled. Currency is available. Next, accounting calendar. Every company, when they are doing the business, they will define their own business calendar. In India, it will be April to March. That's a business calendar for every company designed by the country legislation. Government has specified if you do the business in India, end of the year, March 31st, you are supposed to submit all your accounting entries to our government. Then we will verify and then prepare the taxes. And you are supposed to pay the tax according to accounting entries. That's what the government says. If it is US, January to December. So some companies, what happened, whenever they says that we don't want to wait till 1 year. Every month I want to see my business status. What is my business accounting entries and accounting status, like trial balance, profit and loss reports. Then they'll go for divide that calendar into different parts, quarterly or every month, like that. So we need to discuss with the client. Maximum we'll find monthly periods. Every month one period will be there. That's what I'm going to define monthly calendar. Go to financials. In ERP, we'll find different calendars, like for HCM separate calendar, inventory separate calendar. This is for accounting calendar, manage accounting calendar here. So I'm going to define monthly calendar, which starts with our Sony accounting calendar. And we'll ask our client from which date you would like to go for accounting entries. We are in 2023 January. 1st January 2023, we will be able to perform the things here. Right. So whenever we are talking about the client, client can say that last 5 years I'm using some other ERP. In that ERP, I have accounts. That accounts information also I want to load into Fusion applications because I'm going to close that system. Right. So in that scenario, we will try to bring that data. Means we'll try to migrate the data from legacy system into Fusion applications. Right. So there, what we have to do is we need to specify the old date. So that is all purely we have to ask our client. Based on that, we'll define it. Now I'm going to say that it's January 1st, 2023. I'm not going ahead with that. So period name format, I would like to start with Sony hyphen. Adjustments, in case any adjustments are required, we wanted to do it perform at the end of the year. Adjustment period. Click next button. We'll find the periods here generated successfully. Let's go for closes. and click done button. Here it is. Accounting calendar is 10 successful. Next, chart of accounting structure. This is very important and it takes long time in the discussion. If you want to create a chart of accounting structure, it won't take more than 1 hour, even if it is a complex chart of accounting structure also. But decision making will take long time because you need to interact with the business units. You need to explain about each and every segment. And client also is supposed to explain how they are running the business right now and how they are trying to analyze their business end of the period or end of the quarter or end of the year. Based on that, we are supposed to define the number of segments, but minimum segments are 2. So chart of accounting is nothing but a group of segments which will be used to capture the accounting information. Okay, so if client says that, excuse me, it's not like I'm paying the rent, $1,000. I'm paying the electricity bill, $2,000. I'm paying the freight charges, transport, $200. Miscellaneous expenses, $100. Like this, we can just go for, $10. Or like this, we can go for enter. There will be a millions of accounting transactions end of the year like this. End of the year, if my client at the top level management wants to know, in India, Hyderabad, I have 2 branches. For the 2 branches, how much expenditure I'm getting, I wanted to know. But nowhere we have captured the information that branch name, right? So whenever you are going to write any account, if you mention immediately that the branch name, like Hyderabad branch, this electricity bill is for Bangalore branch, this freight charges has happened for Hyderabad, like that. So you can separate all this Hyderabad expenditure. Now client is asking, department wise, I need expenditure information. For this department, how much expenditure we got, so that I can take a decision on that. Right. So that's the detailed accounting information clients required. That's the reason we'll go for tracking the information to the different segments. Having the advantage of segments is very simple. One is security. Second one is reporting. When you are taking the information maximum, then your analytics will apply very accuracy problem. Okay. If you have information in a proper methodology, then you will be able to get it right. That's, as I said, 2 segments are mandated, company and account, because company is a balancing segment. Whatever the expenditure or income you are getting, obviously for your company only, right? Then account needs to be specified. You are paying salary, it goes to salary account. You are paying the rent, it goes to expenditure. You are collecting the amount from the customer, it's a sales, right? Like that, there are number of accounts will be there. So I am going ahead with 3 segments. We can go ahead maximum 30 segments. In the real time, we will have at least 5 segments, 6, 7 segments. It's a standard question in the interviews they'll ask you. Because you are a financial functional consultant. Can you tell me your client chart of accounting structure currently which you are working? How many segments they are using? Then we can say company, line of business, business unit, department, account, sub-account, feature 1, feature 2. Why we required feature 1 and feature 2? We defined 3 segments right now. After 1 year or 2 years, client wants to add one more segment called business unit. We can add, not a problem, but there might be some issues technically. That's the reason what Oracle says. Now itself, you can configure one segment called feature 1 and make it as a default value. Set this default value always for every accounting entry. Later, after 1 year or 2 years, whenever your client says that, whenever your client says that, I want one more segment, simply enable this. No need to do anything. Just simply enable, check the checkbox. Automatically it will be applied. That's a suggestion given by Oracle. So when we are interacting with our client business users as functional consultant, we'll ask the question, our client, do we need to add any segment in future? If client says that may be required 1 or 2 segments, then we'll say feature 1 and feature 2. Make it as default values and make it as optional. So from now onwards, it will be continued with 000. Whenever you enable, then it will be applied. Generally, we don't find, but we can say that like that it is. Okay. So at this point of time, I'm going to have this, 3 segments, chart of accounts. So when you try to configure chart of accounting structure, there are a sequence of steps which we are supposed to follow. First, we have to create a value sets for our segments. What is value set? Value set is nothing but a list of values. As I said, every day some hundreds of accounting entries happen from every branch. It's very difficult for employees to remember the department names and accounting names. Company name, they can easily remember, right? There will be a 1 company or 2-3 companies are there. So they can easily enter the code. Departments also no problem, 10 to 20 departments are there. That also they can go for remember. But accounts, there will be hundreds of accounting names. For transport 1 account, for sales 1 account, for tax 1 account, for GST 1 account, withholding tax, voluntary tax, involuntary, salary account, hundreds of accounts will be there. It will be difficult for employee to remember, even though if they remember, if they enter manually, we cannot expect that every time employee will enter valid data. They may enter some spelling mistake. Instead of entering the code as 1005, they may enter 1004. Then your accounts is going to be affected. That's the reason what client says that provide some list of values. Make sure that your employee should select a valid value from the list. No option to choose or enter the new value. We will give the list of companies. We'll inform to the end user saying that accounting department, you have to select the value from here. That's it. Okay. If new values are required, of course, we'll add. Let's say today we added 30 departments. After 3 months, client came to us that I want to add 2 more departments. No problem, we'll add it. Okay. So that's what we are going to work with the value set. So what is value set? Value set is nothing but a list of values with validations. We will attach to our segments so that employee cannot enter the new value. Employee has to go ahead with the existing values provided by value set. Okay. So now I'm going ahead with creating new value sets. I'm creating 2 new value sets. One is for company, another one is for department. Okay. Account, I wanted to use the existing one, corporate account. Let's go for this value sets. If we search with the task here, chart of accounting value set here, then we will find value set, structure instance, value set values, this is all common. Go to value set task here. I'm going to create independent value set. Independent value set is nothing but providing the list of values to the user. Here it is. Sorry, company. I'm choosing this module as general ledger and go for independent and choose character. I'm taking the text maximum 4, save and close. Don't enter values now. We have to enter later. Now we are going ahead with Sony department. Independent value set, character, text. Departments maximum 5 digits. Client is asking. Let's go for save and close. So we just created value sets. We have not entered the values. Values we have to enter here later. Later we have to enter, not now. I'll show you that what is the reason behind that. Next, define the structure. Value sets are ready. Built-in value set we are using for accounts called corporate account. Let's configure the segments over here. The chart of accounting structure. We are going to use accounting key flux field. Make sure that your deployment status is success. Otherwise, we'll not be able to create a new one. We have to create a structure first. Structure is nothing but a group of segments. Do we need to have multiple structures? Yes. If the clients are having business in multiple countries. If client is having a business in India and the US, two structures are required. Maybe they wanted to have the same structure with a different value set. We'll create a structure instance. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is first define the structure, then structure instance, then go for deploy this. Structure instance is mandatory. It's alias name for our structure. It's alias name for our structure. We have to go ahead. Okay. So let's go for manage structures here. If you click search button, there will be a number of structures. No need to worry. We don't find these all in the real time. So we'll find one or two or three, whatever business. This is testing data provided by Arc. Sony chart of accounting structure, how the information needs to be separated in the system. For example, just now I given this, right? Rent is an account. Hyderabad is a branch. These two are different segments. The information is separated by hyphen symbol. Some clients wants to have dollar symbol, but generally 99% it will be hyphen symbol. That is called here delimiter we are going to choose. We can disable the structure if we don't want to. So once the structure is saved, then only it will allow you to create segment. Yes. As I said, two segments are mandatory. One is company, another one is account. I'm going to configure here. API name don't enter, it takes automatically. We have already created value set, right, for company. Let's choose this. And primary balancing segment here. I'm going to select save and close. Next, go for department. I don't want to have any label. I don't want to have any label here. So next one is an account. Sony account. Don't enter API name. API name is prepared by the system internally for technical consultants. Display width, let me take it as 5 or 6. Take it as 6. Choose this column name as segment 3 and the value set. We are going to use a corporate account here. It is. Let's go for a corporate account here that we are going to use it. Natural account. These two things are mandatory. Company is a balancing segment and account is a natural account. We are supposed to configure here. It is. It's mandatory. Then go for save and close. We have defined the structure, then we have to go for create structure instance. It's mandatory because chart of accounting structure instance only we are going to use in our ledger. So it's enabled. Dynamic combination creation allowed. Dynamically, if you want to go for define the chart of accounting combinations, we can go for allow. Click this checkbox. If you uncheck this, what happened? You are supposed to choose the existing combinations, whatever we have provided to the employees. Shorthand alias names if required, and choose your chart of accounting structure. Sony, this automatically populate the segments. We cannot create a new segment. We have to just go for save. In case if you want to change any value set or something can be changed. Here we can change values, set code, check boxes, and all can be done it. Now I don't want to change. I want to use as it is here. Let's go for no. Uh, Deploy the flex field. Now what system is trying to do is it's trying to identify the segments are valid or not, and also the value sets, whatever you have used are valid or not. Any balancing segment and natural account is properly configured or not. There are 36 validations system is going to perform internally. Make sure that all validations are success, then only it is going to show us here. It takes a couple of minutes. We need to wait. Let's not close this particular page. Now we can see that this all 36 validations completed successfully. It's taking a couple of seconds to enable this button, OK button. Now deployment successfully completed. Press OK. Zero errors, zero warning messages. We can find deployment status is success. It means our chart of accounting structure is configured successfully. Here it is. Structure we have defined successfully. Instance we have defined. Deployment also is done. Now we have to enter the values for our value sets. We created two value sets, but we have not entered the values. Means list of companies, list of departments we have not entered. Only value set we have created. Let's go to that here. Go to chart of accounting values, value set. What is our value set name? Sony company and Sony department. Search for the value set, manage values. And at the time of creating, if you enter, then you don't find these two fields, allow posting and allow budgeting. Right now we are getting because we are using that in our chart of accounting structure. So I'm going to say that Sony Electronics is one company and Sony Consulting, let's say. Let's say they are going ahead with Sony cars. So three companies we have defined successfully here. Then departments I'm going to have. Click this, provide the departments here. 1001 Finance Department, 1002 Sales Department, 1003 Admin Department, all zeros, all departments, or no department. It means that expenditure or income is applicable for all departments, not for a specific. Like that, we can specify. Corporate account is already, it's a built-in value set. The real time also, most of the clients will use same value set. Otherwise, we can go for, copy this values and load it successfully. There is a concept called rapid implementation. We'll be discussing in our next sessions in our training. We'll talk about that later. Okay. This is about the values entry for this. Now in our ledger, 4 C's are required. 3 C's are already defined. Currency we did, calendar we did, and chart of accounting structure done. Now another one is a compliance method, which is required. We are going to use a standard, compliance method. We can use that. Okay, that comes actually in subledger accounting method. In subledger accounting method, we are going to get it over there. That it is. Let's go for create the ledger. So now what is the next task we are going to perform? Configuration of the ledger. Currency, ledger, everything is available related for the ledger. Let's go to the task here, manage ledger. Manage primary ledger. Let me create ledger. Sony primary ledger I'm going to create here. Chart of accounting structure is Sony. This accounting calendar, US dollar. Accounting method standard accrual. This will be using to manage accounting entries. So that we will talk about when we are talking about subledger accounting, SLA. Here. Save and close. Now, ledger has created successfully, but if we search, press enter key, ledger, we don't find status as success. It's still in process. Because after creating the ledger, couple of setups we have to perform. That is a standard, it's mandate. So what are that? So whatever the company you have defined, attach that company to the ledger, means legal entity. Then specify some basic ledger options and configure your balancing segments. Nothing but your list of companies. How many companies we did? 3 companies. Sony Electronics, Sony Cars, and Sony Consulting. That we are supposed to select the values. And then we need to submit accounting configuration. Internally, it prepares the accounting cubes for reporting as well as for accounting analysis. That once it is done successfully, then only we will be able to find our ledger is successful status. Okay, let's go for assign our accounting ledger here. Let's go to the task. Assign legal entities. We have already created our legal entity, right? Choose your ledger. What is our ledger? Sony. Within the ledger, we'll have either one company or multiple companies. So ledger is the top level. And within that, we are going to have this. We can have either one or multiple companies. Next, specify the ledger options. We are already in the scope of our ledger. Directly open the task. Only two fields are mandatory. The moment whenever we choose the ledger here, automatically takes currency and our chart of accounting structure and calendar. Default, it takes the current period, whatever the starting date we have mentioned. But if you want to change in the initial stage, very first time you can change. But anyway, right now we are in January 23, so we'll go ahead with this. Right. So number of future period, we are going to say 1, and accounting method here. Journal language, which language you are going to enter journal accounts. So I'm going to enter in US, American English. You can choose this. Now we can see that this retained earning account is not populated. Retained earning accounts is not populated. It means there is some problem in your chart of accounting structure. We need to verify. Let me cancel this. Choose your ledger. See, you must provide a value for retained earning accounts. This is a mandatory field, but it's not populated. There might be a couple of reasons. What we have to do is, let's go back to our chart of accounting structure and verify. Success deployment structure. Verify the Sony chart of accounting structure segments, company, department, and account. What is company? It's a primary balancing segment. Fine. Yeah, display width. 1 is there. Make it as 4. Because we given the company codes are 101, right? Display width we have to give 6. Account 6. Display width is nothing but our accounting combinations values. Again, deployment is done. Let's go for deploy the flex field. It's compiled successfully. Let's check this. Specify ledger options. No, it's not populated. Some other problem is there. What is that? So in our ledger set, we have done this. Let's assign the balancing segment values to the legal entity. I don't think so it's required because we do it directly. Let's assign our company values to the, you must specify a journal description language, since there is a subledger accounting method already assigned to the ledger. See, that's a sequence of steps required. So this is not the problem. Somewhere we are missing. Sometimes the application also will get an error. Let's see that. So sometimes this flex fields will not be done properly. So what we'll do is we'll create one simple sandbox and we'll go for compile and go for deploy this. Let's go to. I've already prepared one video actually in our YouTube channel. So go to our YouTube channel here. Oracle Fusion Financials Cloud cannot enter retained earning account in specify ledger options. How to resolve the issue. This. So it's basically ADF personalization. We have to perform that. So let's see. It's not a common issue, very rare case. Let me create a sandbox, configuration sandboxes, and go for create sandbox. It will just refresh our application setups. That's nothing else. Sony sandbox. Create and enter. Now let's go to the home page. Now we are in sandbox here. Let's go for publish this sandbox here. Okay, we'll perform some changes by adding the tools here. Use the tool called structure. Just trying to create a new page entry. We made a small change. Now let's check. Go to setup and maintenance. Financials. Specify ledger options here. We are already in the scope of our lecture. Let's go for it now. Now we can see that retained earning account is populated. I've done this video already last time when we were facing some issue here. I think I have uploaded around 7 months back this issue. Okay, very rare case. The reason is simple. Flex fields compilation or deployment has not done properly. That could be the reason. That's all. That's why we created one sandbox and issued the commit. Now I'm going to specify the ledger options and retained earning account. This is mandatory. See, segments are populated and values list of 3 companies, and I'm getting the departments here. Oh, let's choose. Okay, no department is an issue. Account. There is a built-in account for retainage. Retainage account, we are going to have retained earning accounts. Now we'll go for save and close. So that is specified ledger options we have. And this primary ledger is done. Now let's go for assign this balancing segment values to our ledger. This company. Go for add second one. Save and close. All the three company accounting entries I want to allow. Then after this, what we have to do, let me go for our sequence of steps. Specify ledger options, balancing segment values. We need to run the program, review and submit the program. This is a standard program we have to submit. So it's going to prepare the accounting combinations within this. Meanwhile, we can check the ledger status, whether it's a success or not. Still in progress. Make sure that your review and submit program is completed successfully. Where do we find that? We have to go to scheduled process, right? Go to navigator and tools menu. We have to go to scheduled processes. It's creating balancing cubes internally, and it's trying to load a chart of accounting values combinations. Yeah, let's see the setup and maintenance here. Go to the task primary ledger here. Search for the ledger, whatever we have configured here. Still it is in process. Still in progress. Meanwhile, we can do the next level setup. Let's go for create a location. for our business unit. If you look at here, ledger we have created and we assigned our legal entity to the ledger. Within the company, we'll find business units, right? Nothing but branches. We'll find those BUs here. I'm going to create a location. Location is nothing but an area where the client is doing the business. We are going to create a location and set that location is one of the business unit, nothing but one of the sales office. I'm going to say that Sony New York sales office. Oh, it's done successfully. We created location. Let's create the business unit, nothing but a branch. Assign this BU to the ledger. So go to the task, manage business unit. Let's go for create a BU here. Search for the location, whatever we have created just now. The common reference data set. After creating the BU, let's assign our business unit to the legal entity and hire the employees for our business unit. Assign business unit business function. This is the task. Choose our BU here. Whatever the business unit we have created, we have to attach to the company. Make sure that your company is already assigned to the ledger. We have done that, right? Already our legal entity is associated with the ledger. Let's choose. Don't go for legal entity field. It will show the error message. Go to ledger and search your ledger or legal entity. The combination will be populated here. Okay. Next, we have to go for hire employee and create a user account. We'll hire an employee for our company and branch, nothing but for our legal entity as well as for our business unit. Now go to the task here. Provide some email ID. Here we are supposed to get our legal entity, means legal employer, and we are supposed to get our business unit. So we are hiring an employee for our company and for our branch here. And this employee can log into the applications and create accounting entries day to day. For that, we have to give the access to the employee. That access is nothing but roles and data access. So first we have to go for provide the roles. Go to security console, tools menu, security console. So our admins are going to give the permission for Mr. John. Go to users. We have already created account, right? This, and he's working as a clerk. I'm going to reset the password for this because we are going to test it, right? Otherwise, employees will receive this email ID and they'll go for update their password. And then go for edit, add role, ori_gl_ accounting. Accounting manager. I've already given the explanation in the YouTube video, a difference between, this is retained account, assigning difference between ori_ as well as gl_. You can go through that video also. Financials cloud. So some errors in the real time whenever we are practicing, if we get any error, that I'm going to. Yes. GL errors resolution. So now we have added the roles to the user. Let's go for provide the data access. If we attach the role, what happened? User can access the application, not the data. In your system, there might be one ledger or multiple ledger, but we must give the permission to the user which ledger user can access. Nothing but here, manage data access for users. And I'm going to choose the username here. What is the username? John_Sri. There are two roles for this user, right? General accountant. Data access set is nothing but a ledger. For every ledger, there will be one data access created by the system internally. Once we add the data access, we must run the program. Initial users run this LDAP process, lightweight directory access control, to make sure that your users and roles synchronization is done successfully. Now let's go for logout and login here. Go to general accounting. First, periods needs to be open for our calendar. So general ledger is not open. When you click that, it will open directly January period. Which task we have mentioned? Specify ledger options. In specify ledger options, we mentioned the starting period is January 23. And we also mentioned future interval is 1. Future periods are 1. So that's going to be opened here. It is. Let me refresh. We'll find the accounting is done or not. Periods are opened or not. Oh, I think we have not specified. This action will open the first period. Yes. Process has been submitted. So let's go for journal space and try to create a journal and post it. We'll come to know whether the period is opened or not. Create journal. No, it's not yet opened. The periods are not opened, then we'll find the options here, default values. Let me cross check. Period close. Generally, it won't take this much of time. Let me check the. You don't have tools menu and scheduled process. Employee role is required. If we want to access scheduled process, we need the employee roles. Let me add the employee role for this user. Oh, sorry, not the password. We just want to add the role. Edit, add role, employee role we are trying to add. Let's see that periods. Now we got scheduled process because employee role we have added, right? It is not periods are not opened. Oh, it's a retrain. There is some problem in the server. It's retrain. It's a server issue. I think our let me cancel this process. Let me do it again. January 23. Press OK. Yes. This has been submitted. Refresh. Accounting calendar. Scheduled process. It's a server issue. It's not our problem. If it is error with our setups, then it will show that error message. There is some error within the server. If it is error in our setups, then it will show that in our accounting calendar, you made some mistake. Please rectify like that. There is some database point of view only, we got some error. So it will be done that here it is. Okay, let's see this on our next sessions. Okay, so this is how we are supposed to configure this ledger setup. It's a standard process. We went to security console. We have assigned the roles GL and we have added the data access and LDAP process. Okay, maybe it is a ledger issue. Let's see. Okay, because our ledger we have not verified. It was still in process. Ledger was in process because accounting cubes, it was not generated. Let me cross check once. The task primary ledger. It's done. Success. It is success. Then my accounting calendar. It's very simple. I don't know what it is. They have not done even multiple options also. It is right. Yeah, now it's getting succeeded. Let's see. Yeah, now it's open. That's a problem with our server. Maybe it is waiting for another internal process status. Now the periods are open, so we can create accounting entries in the ledger. Now create journal. Now we can find accounting period, ledger name, accounting date, currency, conversion rate. All these things has been populated, right? So first journal. So here we can find our code combination. I'm going to put as $99. Let's go for add another one. So we don't need to enter again because by default it's going to be two-way accounting. We'll find two accounting lines here. Directly we can go for enter the combination and amount. Journals are posted successfully. We can search for the journal, manage journals. There is only one journal in our ledger and period. Click search button, we'll find the status. So this is how we can go for set up our ledger and create one sample transaction. Finally, log in and test it. So this is basic. It looks like a little bit lengthy process, but we have to do it multiple times. Multiple times we have to perform and make sure that all these things are in our fingertips. So this hierarchy is important. You work for any client in the world, the process of the setups are same, sequence is same. Maybe you'll create multiple legal entities, multiple calendars, number of segments, number of value sets, and structures, multiple BUs, multiple employees. But the sequence of setups are fixed. No question of change. Number of records might be different. So that is depends on the requirement you have to perform. Okay. Thank you. Let's see you on next sessions.